So I'm here today at Dorks Music to look at some different tenor reeds and specifically some of the newer synthetic reeds on the market. So I'm just going to play you some clips on different reeds. So I've got a Vandoren traditional reed, so that's the cane reed, and then I've also got a Legere signature synthetic reed, and I've got one of the new VENN reeds as well. So I'm just going to play them for you, not in that order, and then I'll say a little bit about what I think of them, and you can try and guess which one's which, see if you can hear any differences. So they've heard the three different reeds. I can now tell you that the first one I played was the VENN reed, the second one was the Legere, and that final one was a Vandoren traditional reed. I should say as well, they're all strength 3 reeds, and I'm using a Selmer S80E mouthpiece. So it's quite an open mouthpiece for classical playing, and again you'll know what reed strength suits you best if you're trying them out. So really, I think all the reeds sound rather nice. They've all got their kind of own characteristics. Thinking of the synthetic ones, for me the Legere has a much darker sound than the D'Addario, and I mean, which one kind of you prefer or like really depends what type of playing you're doing. The Legere, it's got that kind of lovely soft mellow sound, but I do think in places it could be slightly lacking in some of the higher harmonics, and it hasn't quite got as much punch. I know Legere do different cuts as well, and a lot of jazz players I believe use the American cut sometimes. So if you're into that sort of playing, you can experiment with the different cuts of them. But moving on to the D'Addario VENN, this is kind of the newest option on the market. I find that one responds really nicely, and I find actually that's quite close to a cane reed in a lot of ways, and it is slightly different to the Legere reed, in that the Legere reed is purely synthetic, and even when you look at it you can see it's plastic. The VENN reed, they have taken kind of elements of actual reed as well. It's kind of almost a hybrid special blend they're doing in that synthetic reed, and I think that does make it feel a little bit closer to a cane reed. For me, it's got kind of quite a nice edge to it. It's got a bit more brightness than the Legere as well. Interestingly, I found pretty much the same thing on alto. We had done a separate video, I should say, comparing these reeds on alto, and I found much the same on those. I found the Legere a bit brighter, the D'Addario a bit brighter, and the Legere a little bit darker. Now going on, the final reed was of course a Vandoren traditional, and that's the reed that I would normally play on. And I think it's interesting, I think you probably can hear the difference, certainly between the Vandoren one, the cane reed, and the synthetics. I think the cane reeds, they still just there's something extra to the sound that's slightly missing in the synthetics. It's not much at all, and I'd be interested to know whether you can hear the difference or not, because I think a lot of people probably won't hear any difference, wouldn't know which of the 3 reeds I was playing on, and I think probably as well, if I heard recording myself, I might struggle to tell which is which. But there's something in the cane reed, something in the feel of it, and I think it's just got slightly more, there's almost slightly more depth to the sound, slightly more presence in the higher harmonics. But it's very small now, and I do think the synthetic reeds are brilliant, these new ones in particular. And really, I find the synthetic reeds have a slightly different use to the cane reed. So if you're, for example, doubling in shows, they're perfect because you can switch between instruments, pick them up, know it's going to respond straight away, not be affected by temperature, humidity, anything like that. I often actually use synthetic reeds when I'm teaching, if I'm picking up the sax and putting it down a lot and I'm going to have the same reed on all day, whereas you might find a cane reed, they can sometimes warp or be affected by temperature, humidity. That synthetic reed, you know you're going to pick it up and it's just going to work every time. So really these synthetic reeds are well worth trying out. Come down to Dorks Music, give them all a go, see which you like best, and let us know what you think of them all.